Hello students. Today we are going to discuss about class Mammalia. Class Mammalia is one of the important class in case of vertebrates. What are vertebrates? Vertebrates are all those chordates that have presence of cranium or the brain box, and also they have the presence of backbone and also called the vertebral column. Now you can ask, what are chordates then? The chordates are all those highly evolved and advanced metazoans that have presence of several unique features. They have presence of dorsal hollow tubular nerve cord, presence of mesodermal rod-like structure, the notochord, presence of pharyngeal gill slits, and the post-anal tail. Now, when you talk about mammalia, you talk about any animal. You talk about the largest animal of this planet, the blue whale, is a mammal. You talk about the largest animal of the land, that is that of the elephant, is a mammal. You talk about the longest animal, the giraffe, is also a mammal. We have marsupials, the kangaroos are also the mammals. We have the egg-laying mammals, the echidna, the platypus, that is called the platypus, the tachyglossus, or the spiny anteaters, all are mammals. So mammals are ruling this planet since the Cenozoic era. They have evolved from the synapsid reptiles. They have several unique features. The presence of hairs all over the body, the presence of mammary gland, which is meant for nurturing the kids, the young ones, presence of diaphragm, which divides the thoracic cavity from that of the abdominal cavity, presence of three bones in case of middle ear, that is the malleus, the incus, and stapes, presence of homeothermy, that is the warm-blooded nature, and presence of metanephric kidney. Several unique features are attributed to that of mammals, which we will be going to discuss one by one. Let us proceed. It's time now to discuss about the general characteristics of class Mammalia in detail. So these are basically the hair-clad, mostly terrestrial, air-breathing, warm-blooded, viviparous tetrapodal vertebrates. Body is divisible into head, neck, trunk, and tail. Limbs are two pairs pentadactyly, each with 5 or fewer digits, variously adapted for walking, running, climbing, burrowing, swimming, or flying. Some of the animals, that is some of the mammals which are aquatic mammals like that belonging to cetaceans, do not have hind limbs. Exoskeleton includes lifeless, horny epidermal scales, spines, nails, hoops, horns, bony dermal plates, and obviously the hairs. So the skin of these mammals are basically glandular in nature. There are various glands. You can find the sebaceous gland, the scent gland, sweat gland, and in case of females, there is also presence of mammary gland, and this mammary gland is responsible for production of milk for nurturing the young ones. There is also a muscular separation between the thoracic cavity and that of the abdominal cavity, and that muscular separation is called diaphragm. The endoskeleton of these very animals are totally ossified, and they have the presence of vertebral column. The cervical vertebrae, more exclusively that of the cervical vertebrae, have 7 vertebrae cervical in case of cervical region. Apart from that, the skull is dicondylic, that is having 2 occipital condyles. The ribs are bicephalous. As I have already told you that these kind of vertebrates, that is the mammals, are homeothermous, that is they have warm-blooded nature, and this warm-blooded nature is because of the presence of 4-chambered heart, which ensures complete separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood and more efficient availability of oxygen throughout the body in a lesser time. They have pulmonary respiration. Even if you talk about the whales or the dolphins or any other terrestrial mammals, all have pulmonary respiration, that is they respire through their lungs. The kidney is metanephric kidney, that is the basic structural and functional unit of kidney is nephron here, and this nephron basically draws their waste material from blood, not from that of the coelom, and these mammals are exclusive, basically that of ureotelic. Brain in case of mammals are well developed, particularly talking about the forebrain, that is the cerebrum part. The cerebrum part is highly developed, which is responsible for their intelligence. Obviously, we all are mammals. So the cerebral part, cerebral hemisphere is divisible into two, and between the two cerebral hemispheres there is presence of nerve plexus, the corpus callosum, which is again the unique characteristics of class Mammalia. Here you can see several mammals. Moving on, that of the subclass Prototheria. Prototheria are basically the egg-laying mammals. These are oviparous mammals. These are considered to be the connecting link between that of the reptiles and mammals. As I have already told you that mammals have evolved from synapsid reptiles. So these are restricted in Australia itself, and their hairs or scales are basically or spines are also present. Mammary glands are present but do not have teeth. The corpus callosum is absent. Example include that of the duck-billed platypus, tachyglossus, among others. Then we have subclass Metatheria, that is the marsupials or the pouched mammals. These do not have true placentation. The marsupial bones or the epipubis we say is present. Tympanic bulla is absent. Restricted distribution, these are also present in Australia and adjoining regions basically. Now we have the Eutheria. Eutherians are the truly placental mammals. The total development of the fetus occurs inside the body of the female in the uterus itself, and several unique features are also belongs to that of the Eutherians. Most of the mammals that we see usually are basically the Eutherians, and Eutherians are placental mammals, have all the mammalian characters. They are most advanced mammals, as I must say. With this the chapter on Mammalia is over, but I would like to introduce to you some of the Eutherian mammals which are really very important. Let us go and see them. So as you can see, this is magnificent tiger, Panthera tigris, which is also our national animal. Under IUCN it belongs to endangered category, and so it needs protection, for which Government of India in 1973 started protection. And this under Project Tiger, several tiger reserves have been constructed, which includes that of Valmiki Tiger Reserve of Bihar. Apart from that, Periyar Tiger Reserve of Kerala and others. And I must tell you one thing, that India has about 70% of the total global of our conservation efforts, which includes that of National Tiger Conservation Authority, which was constituted in 2006 under Wildlife Protection Act. Let us just hope that this tiger can be protected, which will ensure the health of entire ecosystem. This is the largest terrestrial mammal, that the Elephas maximus elephant. But this very elephant is basically African elephant, which belongs to Loxodonta. And Elephas maximus, that is the Indian elephant, is also the heritage animal of our country. And in 1992, Government of India started Project Elephant to protect this very animal, to ensure not only just the protection of the elephant living in their natural habitat, but also the protection of the elephant which are being domesticated, because we are very much fond of domesticating elephants. You can see here the aquatic mammal, Platanista gangetica, or the gangetic dolphin, which is also our national aquatic mammal or the national aquatic animal. And gangetic dolphin is also under IUCN endangered category, so it also needs protection from that of the, it usually gets caught under the fishing nets, and apart from that, the construction of dams and other things has been very caused obstruction to this marvelous animal, and we need to protect this dolphin so as to ensure the health of our aquatic ecosystem.